they lose to Nigma, then that's a pretty hefty blow considering how poorly they've been performing lately. It's also not a good show for So Bad, even if it's not your fault, right? It just feels like I was listening to an interview with Tanner, actually, and he was talking about his time with PBD, and he said, after, was it Bukavel, he kind of thought, like, maybe I'm the problem. And so whenever you're a new player on a team or you're standing in or something like that, and they have, bad performance, you get some unexpected losses, then you're kind of the standout, right?
Yeah, and especially right now, I think with the CIS scene, I think Navi probably saw an opportunity to, like, okay, VP's reshuffling, they're not in their best form, like, maybe it's our time now. And it looked promising at the start of the season, now they've made this small shift, so yeah, I think someone like So Bad, hopefully he's not pinning on himself.
It all just depends on who you are as a person, right?
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who can have their confidence kind of shattered, then that can kind of ruin you as a player. But we'll see how he performs next to Pasha. That's going to be the off-lane duo, him and the DK. Looks like we are going to have some normal lanes. Nice spear from Mind Control. That's just going to be a bit of damage here. That's forcing him to spin as well isn't too bad.
Really good damage early on.
They going to go for it? They're really going to dive? They don't have the brain sap up yet, but it looks like just the auto attacks are good enough. Kuro gets the first blood.
I mean, if kill or no kill, that was already like your lane being secured and won there. Perhaps Mars not so happy about taking so much damage, but he's got a salve from his teammate, so happy camper now, and Kuro with the early first blood will have a big bonus to his starting gold.
Looks like they're going to start GH up here. Maybe they're just planning to harass this lane a little bit while Crystallize still has his spin on cooldown.
Yeah.
After all, I think Peter made a really good point about how strong second pick Nature's Prophet is, just because you can kind of pick it into any lane, and you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, I think whether there's a support down bottom or not, the lane doesn't change too much for Miracle. He's just going to be sitting behind his tree and trying to last hit against what is kind of a hard to last hit in lane with the Fade Bolt and the Breathe Fire, but he's still got a lot of harass potential. We're seeing it here, the double train army. He's taken 2 heroes on by himself. Miracle is unafraid.
So Bad finally shows back up to lane. Looks like he wanted to block the easy camp, because he used the ward to be able to spot out for courier rotations, but did mean that Pasha is just bearing the brunt of all that physical damage. Our mid lane matchup is going to be Magical's Void Spirit against Weeha's Huskar, and that will very likely be a hard matchup for Magical. Pretty much any melee hero is going to suffer, and he even doesn't even have the benefit of Resonant Pulse really protecting him, since most of the damage is going to be magical from those spears.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So far, at least the first few waves went pretty well for him. Perhaps it was a good block, but it will not remain the case, I have to imagine.
Yeah. It's in the level 3, level 4 area. I'm sure the Huskar is really going to start asserting more and more control. That just leaves our top lane, which is a kill combo for Na'Vi. Grimstroke with the Inkswell onto a Juggernaut who can spin on top of people against the Phoenix Mars. So it's a pretty potent off-lane duo, especially now that they've lost their courier too.
Yeah. But did deliver items, I believe, but just instantly died afterwards. It was that ward in lane. So yeah, life top going to be difficult for Na'Vi for sure.
I do like the fact that you pointed out that both Void Spirit and I feel like the Juggernaut, these are going to be cores that, while still feeling that the overall strategy feels like it's a bit greedy, those two heroes are more active than their counterparts from last game, right? Like, I feel like the Juggernaut's going to be more effective than that Luna from, or at least I hope so, because that Luna was very, very ineffective.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a hero that can get involved a lot more early on. You have the Blade Fury magic community to kind of try and team fight with, but you need to have a good lane. I think it's kind of the first step to get to that point. You don't want... Jug can fight if you're playing on even or ahead terms. If you're playing from behind, you generally just want to try catch up on farm.
Again, both supports in this lane, so life is not that easy for Crystallize. GH was threatening to be able to pull creeps and stuff, and then Bane, Kuro's just always kind of sitting in the face of that Juggernaut, not afraid to trade thanks to the Brain Sap. And bottom lane is still going okay unless he dies here. The Telekinesis pull back into the Breathe Fire. They can get some body blocks here. They'd definitely be a kill. They save the Dragon Tail until Miracle is surely dead. Not enough time to be able to teleport out. And well done. They needed a kill like that. They just can't continue to run a dual lane without threatening Miracle's life.
Yeah, it never feels good to be getting tri-lane, losing that lane, and then your 2v1 lane is just like... They're watching Nature's Prophet hit some creeps and contest the lane. So yeah, they need that kill. And that's going to make them just feel a lot better about their laning setup like that. You probably... I mean, you could just leave DK down here solo, but that's then going to end up with Nature's Prophet free farming away, so...
Yeah.
Instead, they're the ones who force Nigma to rotate their supports and go into a dual lane themselves.
Yeah, I can't imagine Phoenix is super happy about sitting in a tri-lane for very long. That is a very level-dependent support.
Yeah, and surprisingly, we saw a bit earlier pop up. GH yet hasn't won a game this season on Phoenix, 0-3. So, not to hear Nigma's hello success
nice
on
rotation, Ilias. Oh, it's not going to be quite enough to save Magical's life, though. Fortunately, Weehaw does die, but in a gank, Weehaw managing to get the kill first, that is so important. He's going to have that lead on experience over a Void Spirit who's already in a bad matchup. Bottom lane, Pasha in some trouble here. Sprouted up, surrounded by treants as well. Nowhere to run to, tries to go the other direction. Blocked up still, takes a pit stop to Dragon Tail stun up Miracle, and gets enough space to be able to pop the healing sound, but it doesn't last for long. In fact, he picks up his Soul Ring, but loses his Courier. Now they turn back for Sobad, who is not nearly as tanky as Pasha. He won't manage to make it out of that Sprout trap.
Disaster. Disaster. That's even though DK survives, he wastes his salve, so you're not even getting the gold value from the salve there. It's instantly cancelled, so really bad outcome. But Magical rotating down here. He's gonna, if he gets like a solo kill in Miracle, that could be really nice. He's probably gonna need some help from the DK, so he's waiting for Miracle to perhaps push up a bit further.
He's got the angle to definitely hit the Ether Remnant. They just need a little bit of nukes to follow it up.
Waiting for that range creep attempt, maybe.
I mean, they can't wait for long. There's just a lot of wasted time for Miracle. They're finally going to pull the trigger here and get the kill. So Magical can return to his lane if he wants, though honestly, it feels like he's just looking for excuses at this point to not be in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where it's like, definitely worth it for Magical. He can't lane mid, but at the same time, if you're Nigma, you're like, yeah, they just three-man rotate. I'm sure Miracle's just like, it's fine, guys. I'm still farming. He's top 3 net worth with his teammates, so I think that's like one of those probably best-case scenarios for both teams.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're not too worried about that if you're Nigma, but there's nothing better for Magical to do.
Feels a little bit how I was describing Gambit in that first game, where it's like, okay, their rotations and stuff are good, and they're making the right play, but ultimately they're just in a bad situation because of their draft. Their lane's not going so hot, so bad he's going to be burned out. You are on fire! I never noticed that description before of Burning Spears. Just in case you didn't know, you are on fire! Mind Control having total free farm in the top lane, 31-13.
Jeez, this Bane has the same net worth as poor Void Spirit, and now higher.
Yeah.
Bane's getting a lot of kills this game, so I think that speaks to both how bad the mid matchup is as well as how well Kuro's done roaming around getting some kills.
Yeah, certainly.
Although buying some sentries now and tanking some of that net worth down.
And it's like, who do you ask of your cores to like rotate around? You know, like who can put a stop to this Huskar? Well, you've got a kind of do-nothing off-laner. Like he's not the greatest ganking rotating hero. And you've got a safe lane Juggernaut who's already been impressed enough in his laning phase. He's not even level 6 yet, so.
That's where this Huskar pick feels amazing because it's shutting down the key playmaker of Na'Vi.
That's really nice. The spin into the Inkswell stun should be enough to be able to get the kill onto Mind Control. He's being kept alive off the Sun Ray, but there's no way out of this situation. He's put himself in. Miracle, he's going to show himself, but he needs Vision of Crystallize to get the Wrath of Nature to hit. He does manage to get a block there and cancels some of the healing salve, though most of the damage is already done. The Huskar is going to come in now to be able to clean up on not one support, but 2. Ilias, he pops the Inkswell, hoping to survive long enough for it to explode, maybe deal a little damage, but ultimately he's very, very dead.
Yeah, good. I think Huskar recognizing, okay, they're roaming around, I'm just going to start moving as well. Not really a hero known for his ability to gank side lanes and rotate. Normally you'd expect, okay, the enemy mid left the Husker lane. Husker just tries to take the tier 1 mid, but Weeha securing a kill bottom as well as now top. Very active considering how good a start he's had. I like seeing that.
Some stacks for Magical to recover off of is a really nice play for them. So it almost puts him at level 7. You're going to need some playmaking to happen here, especially in bottom lane. They can't just let Mind Control freely defend this tower. They made all those rotations up to the top lane. Now they need to kill this hero and finish it off, but unfortunately they're not able to do so. Mind Control too tanky thanks to his Bracer, Soul Ring, and Infused Raindrops. He may not have the levels, but he does have the net worth.
Yeah, and Phoenix even happy to just dive in, show himself, be like, okay, if you guys try and go in here, I'm behind my Mars, and a third hero TPing in will threaten to turn this one around. Bane Kuro showing up, so
Ilias, he'll get the Inkswell stun here, onto 2. Mind Control decently low, but Miracle looking to finish off Pasha. He quickly tries to cut through the trees, blocked by Treants though, turns the other direction. Hit by Brain Sap, that almost finishes him off, but he'll limp away. Not happy with the situation, but alive still.
Yeah, his raindrops himself keeping him alive on the DK, but I'm surprised Navi got so aggressive there. The Phoenix had already shown that he was sitting behind Mars. They know there's a Sunray in play, and you're versing a Nature's Prophet, so that instant TP potential is always there, so I think you've got to be very careful about playing aggressive under enemy towers like that, and luckily for Navi, they don't give up any kills, but they're also not really securing much farm on many of their cores right now.
Yeah, Sunray, that's in the worst possible position. A strength-on-strength core matchup is happening, and the Sunray's burning through both of them. Sure enough, Nigma are doing exactly what the panel talked about, exactly what you talked about. They're going to be taking a fast pace to this game. They're going to get a tower advantage, and especially off of winning lanes and getting a tower advantage, they're just going to build up such a big net worth lead early on.
Yeah. Void Spirit's done a really good job recovering with the stacks in the jungle. Like the triple stack, they just had a double stack at the big camp. That's exactly what his game needed, just to, you know, look after yourself without at least like an item, like a fast blade mail or some kind of a Yule Scepter. You just can't make the moves your team needs you to make. So I think for Magical, it's like, yeah, you're the playmaker, but you've got to make sure you get some items as well.
Magical is going to try and stop Weeha here. GH, though, completes it with a nice dive channel onto the outpost. So that will take away the experience. Bottom lane, they did manage to grab it. Na'Vi take it away and bounce real quickly thanks to the mass teleports from Nigma.
Nigma, yeah. Looks like it. Well, we'll see how many of these bounty runes Nigma get. Typically, they should be getting both the top ones in this scenario, and yeah, then Miracle TP's in, and they'll eventually get that second one. So 2 for 2 bounty runes, but both outposts for Nigma. So the experience, it's so annoying for these 5 positions and 4s, especially when you don't get those outposts. It just can make the difference with your level 6 timing by like 30 seconds to a minute, so it may limit the ability for these teams to make some plays. Both Nigma supports already hitting level 6.
Looks like Magical has made the call, or maybe it's Pasha. One of them has just said, you know, the Dragon Knight has more net worth. Let me go for the Spirit Vessel. Instead of, you know, Void Spirit being a very good Spirit Vessel carrier. Yep. But Pasha, he's a lot closer to it. This allows Magical to focus a little bit more, because I was seeing him buying up Null Talismans, and I'm like, dog, you got to get a Spirit Vessel stat. Top lane, he's going to try and make a go here on a Miracle. Definitely a really big kill if they can get it, but Ilias, he may be the turnaround here. Miracle is able to kill him, goes
no
for the
way.
teleport out. No, he's too tanky. Blade Mail, man. What a value item in this game. That armor made him tanky enough to survive through that last couple of seconds.
Well, that's pretty demoralizing, and of course, it's not a good trade. It's a bad scenario, but just the, okay, we 2v1 gank this guy, he turns around, kills the support, TP's out in front of us. You don't feel good about that, and then instantly TP's back and forces Magical away from the top lane. And they're going to soon enough find out that Nigma's also just gone in and taken themselves a free Roche.
Yep. As long as Weeha doesn't screw up these armor toggles, everything should be groovy.
Pop that shovel, bro.
Yeah, that could be a bounty rune. Or it could be a healing salve to bump your HP back up a little bit more. So now we're getting into full momentum for Nigma. They've got an Aegis. They, with a Nature's Prophet Huskar lineup, 12, 15 minutes, you're just going to be demolishing towers. Because who can stand to team fight a Huskar at this point? And then you're going to be able to clean up the side lanes with Wrath of Nature.
Yeah, Jug, like Omni/Slash this game feels like it's not going to do anything with Treants, and just if they're grouped up as 5, it's like, okay, how do you get a Omni/Slash until Jug gets like at least level 12 or something, it feels like, for that second point. He's level 7 only. We're 12, 13 minutes in. He's in full recovery mode. We kind of kept asking the question, who's going to be the one to like fight, create space, and it's definitely not looking like Jug. DK Void Spirit perhaps, but if Nigma's grouping with an Aegis, you just have to avoid fights.
Mars as well. I always feel really good about him against Juggernaut, both between, being able to tank up with Bulwark against Omni/Slash, or because I'm able to, while he's spinning, I can throw out God's Rebuke and at least lifesteal a little bit when I have my Vlads.
Yeah, I think this Vlad's time is going to be pretty scary. Goes for the blink first, so when they're pushing, they have that kind of an insta-kill initiation threat, so defending these towers, like for someone like Rubik who's like, okay, defend towers with those Fade Bolts, suddenly you have to worry about Mars just blinking in, spearing you back, or catching you in an arena.
I like how Mind Control has really been prioritizing the Blink Daggers earlier and earlier. This game he went Soul Ring, but he didn't upgrade his boots, right? He didn't go Treads or Phase Boots that we've seen a lot of. Instead he said the initiation is all important because we're trying to take such a fast tempo against this team.
Yeah, 2 games in a row. In both games, I think a similar common theme is that we've got GH not playing those like initiating 4s. So because they don't have a 4 who initiates, they have a Phoenix, they had a Coddle, these team fighting sit-back heroes.
Right.
The blink on Mind Control is even more important. So it seems like, at least for now, a formulaic thing for Nigma.
Did you see So Bad? He's got Brain Sap, so he's thinking like, if Huskar gets low enough, I might just be able to pop up.
Oh, yeah.
Take away that Aegis real quickly, but it looks like he was spotted by a creep somehow and had to retreat.
Doing a good job of taking over the bottom side. And I was saying, Peter brought up yesterday when I was casting with him, it was like, he likes when Radiant teams, when they get Aegis, they actually take over the bottom side of the map because you have access to the both Ancients then, which is just more gold. So even though you typically play more in the top side of the map as Radiant, but once you have Aegis, you want to do the opposite.
I remember for ESL One LA, AUI was listening to our cast. I asked some question out loud, and it actually DM'd me. I remember it was something like, carry players only care Ancients now, or something like that. So definitely feels like the meta is very much about controlling these 2 different Ancient camps when you have the advantage. Spin over, crystallize. He will manage to get that bounty rune, but at the same time, it looks like Huskar's locked onto a kill. We're going to watch Kuro die at the same time. Maybe Magical's going to get caught. He dies away. Oh no, the spear! They've caught him. Nice blind spear from Mind Control through the trees, catches them out. And the 3 cores show up, bring down the mid of Na'Vi.
Disappointed Kuro. I thought he was going to commit for the bounty rune. He started running away when Jug
Suicide in, yeah.
Yeah, he could have just held his ground and said, "You're coming to me, but I'm grabbing this bounty rune." Ends up dying anyway. There was maybe a possibility of escape there, so playing from ahead, he decides it's not worth dying for a bounty rune. But Veil coming up for Phoenix, not needing. I mean, I guess just deciding they don't need any kind of Spirit Vessel right now. And we'll see again here. Poor Bane getting picked off, and the blind spear was really nice.
Are you a good bounty rune getter? Are you good at the click off?
I am not good at the click off. No.
I feel like no, this is just my own lame-ass excuse, but nowadays I feel like I just don't want to go for bounty runes because I feel like, I'm US West playing on US East, there's ping, I'm just like, there's some guy on like 10 ping who's going to get it, who's going to beat me in the click off, it's not worth it.
I'm one of those players, I play like carry or 5 position, I always try sneak by and grab the bounty rune behind. So the bounty rune you're meant to contest, I just sneak by the Roshan pit and go for the one that sometimes the mid gets. The mid often gets greedy and doesn't grab it. They go for the body block.
Yeah, exactly. Some mid jack-off is like, you guys can get the bounty rune. I need my block.
Yeah, so you sneak by and just grab a free bounty rune, and don't have to worry about some click off or some harass trade.
Yeah. 9-6, a 4,000 net worth lead for Nigma in this game, where we see them just full-on controlling up the game, but Na'Vi.
Yeah.
They could be coming on, like I'm trying to look at what items they need. Magical. Okay, no, he went back for the Spirit Vessel even though Pasha had it queued up earlier.
Yeah, Pasha changed his mind back to the Blink Dagger, I believe.
So. They really like changing their ideas on items. Maybe it's just that's the effect of being on a losing side.
Yeah. I think Nigma just happy to control the farm on the map with the Aegis. They showed no intent of pushing high ground. Mars in some trouble here. There's the blink dagger from Pasha showing up to secure the kill and insta TP out. They know they cannot take this fight, and luckily there's no TP cancels.
Yeah, there's only the Fiend's Grip that they really have to worry about when it comes to Jug, Spin TP. In general, these cores don't offer a whole lot, so...
Yep.
At the same time, though, as soon as you have been forced away from a push, Nigma can just kind of run at you now, because they have the BKB armlet on Huskar. So, Weehaw is ready to take any fight that is offered.
Mask.
Crystallize,
He's
in some
silenced.
trouble, gets silenced, and Spin going off, but it's not good enough.
Oh, they found him with the Mask of Madness on. That's a rough one.
Well, it looks like Miracle building up a Hyperstone. So I wonder if he's going to be tanking up and going AC route of just full-on armor, or if that's going to be built into some awkward build-up of the...
Has he got a Mjolnir maybe on his courier?
Yeah, that's true. Is Mjolnir that value this game?
I wouldn't say so. I'd be surprised by the pickup, but maybe he just wants to pop it on his Husker who's diving in or something.
That's true.
He had the Halberd queued up. He's got the Halberd queued up still, so... He had the Halberd queued up with the Maelstrom. I thought he was just going to buy the Sanj, but I guess he decided for this Hyperstone instead. I don't think Halberd's mega value against this Na'Vi lineup, but... Tanking, I mean, you feel good when you're tanking up on this Nature's Prophet because you just want to, you're playing this aggressive, fast-paced game, so...
Yeah. It really plays off the Blade Melt build-up, too, you know, where you already have this very stat-efficient item, and you're just kind of teleporting in and focusing people to combat you. Is that a stolen teleport? It is. Nicely done by Sobad. Now, you need to actually use that stolen spell, my friend, because Mind Control, he's closing in. He didn't spot him in time, though. Gets the TP out. Vampire Fangs for the Huskar. Doesn't want him. Keeps the Essence Ring instead.
Vampire Fangs is going to be one of the worst Tier 2 items, I feel. Like, no, I never see anyone wanting to keep it. I mean, the lifesteal is generally, like, it's okay on some certain heroes, but I see so many just passing it up.
Definitely feels like we're going to watch Miracle die here. Nice pickup from Na'Vi. I like that they're getting aggressive now. Feels like they're trying to keep control of this game from spiraling too far out like Game 1 did. Maybe that is an effect of some of the heroes. They're not just sitting here going, guys, Luna BKB, we can't fight until that. They have this Juggernaut. They have this Void Spirit, these heroes that are a little bit more independent of their items.
Yeah. Those GG bet odds not giving much faith in Na'Vi's ability to come back, however. It's still just a 3k gold lead, and it's been kind of sitting there for a while, so it hasn't been Nigma pulling ahead, despite having that kind of map control with the Aegis, taking over a lot of the Ancient farm. Na'Vi's done a good job of kind of keeping up in terms of where the status quo was.
Yeah, it felt like Nigma could take any fight they wanted, and yet the net worth has either... It was staying around 4k, I think, earlier, and so now it's only 3k up.
I think they have done a good job with this Rubik especially, just keeping these lanes shoved out. That's why Sobad's net worth is actually rather high this game. He's just been the one going to these quote-unquote dead lanes where...
Oh no, the telekinesis, it didn't hit Miracle. The drop down, if it had, maybe he could have just used the teleport to get out. Spotted again. Probably going to die here unless he can really juke him into these trees, but still.
Was that
a lot of space.
What's the item that does damage over time on Prophet? Yeah, he's got the dragon scale kill. That's I was like, what's he dying to there?
No stuns here unless the spear. The spear gets there in time before the TP can be completed. Same goes with the Fiend's Grip. Now the march to high ground.
This Dragon Scale is going to allow them to push that a little bit faster, give the Nature's Prophet a bit more survivability, and Mind Control just goes up with the Bulwark. And it wasn't about the Aegis timing for Nigma, it was just about getting some of these item timings, it seems.
Yeah, felt like it was all good just a couple minutes ago. Okay, Na'Vi, you're doing all right. You're getting a pick-offs here and there, but all of a sudden now their base is being assaulted and they lose one team fight.
Yep.
Very likely Nigma will be far enough ahead in this game that it'll be irrecoverable. Magical jumping in with the Inkswell, but has to bounce away. With the Dissimulate, they have that Soulbind on 2, but not a ton of single target abilities to use with it, especially with the Dragonite just now coming back up.
Did force Weeha's BKB, and they really want to catch him out, it seems.
Jumping again. Nightmare dodging the Inkswell stun. Nicely played by Kuro. Now stuck inside the arena because he blew all his Astral Steps and no way out. Fortunately, the Desolator makes mincemeat out of this Mars. He's on the high ground now with Pasha going back in. Can he get through this Sprout and get on top of some of these heroes with the Inkswell stun? He'll manage to throw that out with a stolen Sunray out from Sobat. He's doing a good job keeping this damage onto Weeha, but it's not quite enough to finish him off. Fortunately, Crystallize doing all the heavy lifting as he is ripping apart heroes right now. This Desolator doing so much work. And Weeha, oh, please tell me they have a stun. They don't.
Oh.
The Aether Remnant will come out too late.
Good fight from Na'Vi still. It cost them one buyback on the Void Spear. I think DK slightly oversteps there. I'm surprised he blinked in with a stun. Like, Jug didn't have any kind of Omni Slash to follow it up, but ultimately a decent fight. Gold-wise, it stays pretty even, but those kills, getting all that experience, that's kind of what Na'Vi need just as much as the gold, and they're going to follow up this fight with getting some nice farm around the map. We'll take another look here. Just doing a really good job of finding mind control and forcing out kind of a bad arena, so fight ended up going pretty well for them, and yeah, so bad, doing crazy damage with this stolen Sunray.
Yeah, if only Pasha could have lived a couple more seconds there. That Essence Ring may have actually been what kept Weeha alive in that. Definitely, even though the gold and the experience is relatively even in that exchange, it's encouraging seeing that fight from Na'Vi, right? That Desolator did a lot of work for them. They see a very clear win condition, because I don't even think he got a full Omni Slash. I think he just stuck on the Mars, and once the Mars was dead, he couldn't jump to anybody else. So
it ended very quickly, and unfortunately, this will not be so encouraging. Nigma follow up that team fight right away, grab themselves Aegis and Cheese, and now the Halberd is also up on the Husker. So life gets a little bit trickier, as Nigma could just be looking to take another fight, run down another lane. They're going to have double Halberd on Nature's Prophet and Husker, and this is a stage of the game where those Halberds start to look really useful against this Juggernaut in these team fights.
All right, if I'm Na'Vi, this time around, I'm asking Pasha. Do exactly the same that Magical did. Just dive in and utilize a buyback here, because they're going to need those extra numbers against that Aegis. This early initiation not going so well. My control's already dead, and they're going to manage to get away from the Supernova pretty well, unless Crystallize, oh no, he's stuck in the Fiend's grip. Didn't spot that one until it was too late. Crystallize not having the buyback. They needed Pasha to be the one to die. Unfortunately, now without their damage, doesn't look like they have a great way. Tried to blink in and stun, but Weeha too quick with the fingers, activates his BKB. And even if he did catch him, he's got Heaven's Halberd, he's got Sunray behind him, and he's got an Aegis ultimately. Lead in, telekinesis into the Aether Remnant. Soulbind going out. Once again, the Nightmare doing a good job disjointing some of that damage. They do take away that Aegis, and they do maybe kill Miracle. No, they didn't turn around and kill him. He activates the cheese, and Miracle, he'll finish off this range Rex with the help of Weeha, who ultimately uses the life break just to try and lower his HP a little bit lower so he can attack faster. They do have a nice stolen spear, but it's going to cost so bad his life probably. He's trying to limp away, dissimulate, doing some damage, but he has to get away from all these heroes, especially away from Weeha with no Astral Step for another 10 seconds. This Weeha Huskar should make easy work of him, unless Satan to the rescue. Looks like Crystallize almost able to finish him off. A Nightmare save once again. Weeha almost dead. Crystallize finally gets him. Activates the spin and goes for Miracle up next. Miracle, a heavy hitter though. Can't stand up against that physical damage for long. Pasha, same problem here. A Sprout combo with Mind Control, who hits the Spear of Mars. Only two alive now with a buyback coming out from Ilias. Him and Magical. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to stop a second lane of Rax going down.
These fights are close. Actually, it's just like they haven't quite got enough. It just feels like, you know, if that Aegis or that cheese isn't there, one of those two things missing, Na'Vi probably win those fights, but Nigma making great use of every small little advantage they have. Not a clean or flawless push from them, like Mind Control blinking up to start the fight onto the high ground and getting blown up before he can use his spells effectively, but this Sunray heal from behind, they just have no good way of getting to the Phoenix and stopping it. The sustain and the tankiness of this Miracle Prophet in the front lines is just way too much.
Need another 25 for Pasha, but now the Crystallize is up. I think Nigma will retreat, at least wait until Weeha is here again. So my question to you guys is, if you're in Nigma and you're in this position, do you try and end the game or at least get that second lane of barracks or something now, or do you wait out a third Roshan?
I think you try in the game now because they just use Glyph. I think that was the really nice thing about sticking around to pressure that bottom lane is they forced the Glyph on the tier 3 tower. So with Glyph on cooldown, you've got BKBs, so you can still play around the Husker on the front line. Once your ultimates are all up, I think you go for it.
Don't let him do this. They do manage to save Crystallize from that Fiend's Grip, and he gets off the spin. He'll be alive. Unfortunately, the two that look to bail him out, Sobad and Pasha, they both go down, and that's now an opportunity for Nigma.
Yeah.
Go for the high ground push, and they're going to go top.
Yep, that's the Nigma answer to how to get that second lane without an Aegis Cheese. It's just take a good team fight. Even though the Fiend script gets cancelled, it sets up the Mars to get off a good arena. And that's something I think Mind Control struggled with, being this insta-blink initiator. He kept getting like scouted or insta-lifted when he blinked in, so...
Do have a lot of AoE burst here. Magical's going to come in with his fresh Aghanim Scepter and throws out those Resonant Pulses, making sure that Kuro can't get any spells off. Unfortunately, they just don't have the damage and get demolished so quickly. Crystallize. All damage there with the Desolator, but once he comes down from an Omni Slash, he just gets ripped apart.